Hi everyone, we're going to continue on today, July 15th of 2011. We're going to go into another prophecy, and this prophecy that I called today in my post, The Making of the Psalm 83 War. And today's headline reads this, and this is from a June 29th, 2011 headline. It says, UN vote to the Palestinian will lead, or Palestine will lead to war. Now, in Psalm 83, we're told that there's specific nations who are going to come against Israel in the last days, and they're going to come together, counsel together with themselves, and in the hopes, it says in the scriptures, that they're going to do this in thinking that they're going to get rid of Israel altogether so that their name isn't even remembered anymore. And we know that who they are because in Psalm 83 specifically points out these nations. And you could see that Jordan and Iraq and Syria, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, the Palestinians, and there's factions of the Hezbollah, the Fatah, and the Hamas as well, plus the Lebanese, are all involved in this war. And so I've been warning the footsteps of this war are coming, and we see the news just about every week now showing us the events that are leading up to it. Now, if you went to my website today for July 15th of 2011, you'll see the birth pangs of the gold and the silver prices that I talked about. Well, these are the birth pangs that are in actually the handwriting on the wall of a prophecy that hasn't been fulfilled yet. Psalms 83 hasn't been fulfilled. And there's only a few prophecies left before those prophecies are filled, and that would be Psalm 83, Ezekiel chapter 38 and 39, which is a war that God showed Ezekiel. That war will not involve the nations who are involving for the Psalm 83 war. So let me get to this article that talked about this war coming from the June 29th. It says the result of the Palestinian Authority bid to win international recognition for the Palestinian state at the UN in September is likely to be war with Israel. Now keep in mind, again, in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5 verse 3, Jesus Christ told us through the Apostle Paul that when they shall call peace and safety, sudden destruction will come upon them. And we know that the call for peace and safety is there. I did a long video about this yesterday. And now we know that war, the sudden destruction, is headed toward us. So let me continue on with this post of 2011. It says that according to a survey of the Palestinian Arabs conducted by the Palestinian Center of Policy and Opinion this week, while most Palestinians do not believe the motion on an independent Palestinian state will pass in both the General Assembly and the Security Council, if it does, then they have very specific and violent ideas about what should happen next. If the UN recognizes Palestine, 76% of the Palestinian Arabs said that their security forces must immediately exert control over Judea, Samaria, and the eastern half of Jerusalem, even at the risk of open warfare with the Israeli army. They also want the Palestinian forces to seize control of the Allenby Bridge crossing into the neighboring Jordan. So this is really amazing because they're talking about what they're going to do even if they don't get the Palestinian state and what they're going to do if they do get it, and it's both leading to war. And right away, if you look at this article back from June 29th, it said that they're going after the eastern half of Jerusalem. Now, why would they even mention this in this article? Well, if you knew what Zechariah 12:3 said, Zechariah 12:3 tells us that anyone who burdens themselves over Jerusalem will be cut into pieces. And anybody, as a matter of fact, who comes against Israel, it falls into that category, is going to be cut into pieces. And we know when these people, including the Palestinians who are in the Gaza Strip, they're in, we see the enemies in Lebanon and all those other countries that we talked about, in the West Bank, and all the problems that are coming on. So these people are going to be cut into pieces when they go after Israel, thinking that they're going to get back East Jerusalem. And we believe that this is what the 83 Psalm is all about, and it is on its way. Now let me jump to July 14th. This was the news that just came out yesterday, and the headline of that report reads as follows: Israelis, the next Intifada will be this year. Now, Intifada is a war. That's what they're saying. They believe that the war will be happening this year. Let me go on. It says, and I'm quoting from this article, a 52% majority of the Israelis believe that next Palestinian Intifada terrorist uprising will erupt in September or shortly thereafter. Now, remember yesterday, if you came to my post, I gave a whole bunch of information about the feasts that are going to take place in September. I believe that they start from the 23rd to the 30th. Or around there. They change every year, but I believe that those dates are accurate for this year, and you can go on the internet and check. But September is the Jewish feast, and we know that many of the prophecies have been fulfilled on the very feasts. We saw the first four, the spring, being fulfilled by Jesus' first coming. We know that the next three, the false feasts, will also be fulfilled. So September, again, is a very, very critical month, and they believe that it's a possibility, according to this article, that it's September or shortly thereafter. Let me go on. It says that catalyst for this new orgy of violence will be the unilateral Palestinian statehood bid at the UN. Israelis polled by the Duffer Institute said that they believe that the Palestinians will launch a fresh intifada regardless of the outcome of the UN bid, which is expected to be voted in the Security Council by the US, but pass as a non-binding solution in the General Assembly. In fact, the Palestinians are saying the same thing. A poll conducted last month by the Palestinian Center of Policy and Opinion found that 76% of the Palestinians feel the next step after winning a General Assembly vote on statehood will be to go to war against Israel. And I don't know what else you need to know. I mean, you see the direction that the Middle East peace talks are going. They've been stalled now, going on almost 2 years. They can't get them to sit down. They can't get them to agree on the issues of East Jerusalem or the borders of Israel. Now, when you take a look at a map, and you see in this map of the Middle East, you will see that Israel is a tiny speck among all these nations. Below, you'll see Egypt, and in the southern part, you'll see Egypt, and you'll see Iraq surrounds them. You'll see the Syria and Lebanon are surrounding them, and then you'll see Saudi Arabia, and all of these nations are massive compared to Israel, but yet they are going to come against Israel, and it's going to happen because a lack of the peace process, because we know that, because Paul said when they're calling for peace and safety, sudden destruction will come. Now, I have found, or somebody sent me today, a really good video about Israel's future war, where a doctor is talking about the events that are unfolding. And instead of me trying to give you my dissertation about what it is, I'll save my vocal cords and just scroll down and hit this video. It's very, very good. And if you read my book in chapter, in my book, The Last Chronicles of Planet Earth, you'll see in there's a chapter that deals with the, chapter 10, that deals with the attack on Israel, and it covers both the Ezekiel War and Psalm 83. And this video that you're going to scroll down to will be dealing with this new war that's going to be coming up, which we believe this is Psalm 83 war, and I think you'll find it very, very interesting. So scroll down, watch that video, and we'll continue on with some more news. Thanks.